What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Ryan Loede here. Hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day. Coming to you live from the Ohio Executive Office here at LC Financial Group. Want to bring a quick little training to you guys, quick little training for insurance agents and insurance agency owners. We're going to be talking about the best industry practices for calling leads, the best industry practices for calling insurance leads. So if you're an insurance agent, an insurance agency owner, tune into this, take some notes. Everything that I'm teaching you, I have done personally. A lot of our partners here within LC Financial Group have done personally, and a lot of the top industry leaders have done as well. So coming to you guys, talking a little bit about the best practices to calling insurance leads. So hope everyone is doing well. Before I go any further, just want to properly introduce myself. My name's Ryan Loede, the Machine. I'm building a 9-figure insurance agency and helping everyday Americans create a multiple 6-figure residual income here at LC Financial Group. We're hiring, we're growing, and we're expanding in all 50 states. So if you want to learn more about what partnering with us here at LC Financial Group would look like, DM me, comment below, or reach out to any of our partners here at LC Financial Group, or hey, send an email to careers@teamlcfg.com. That's careers@teamlcfg.com. Hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day. Let's get into it. The best practices for calling leads, because if you don't know the best practices, if you don't know what to do, you're not going to be able to get the most outcomes and the most results out of the leads that you're calling. Now, it's also very important to know what not to do, because a lot of people are just focused on what to do, and they sometimes forget about what not to do. So you need to focus on, hey, what do I not do, instead of just focusing on what am I supposed to do. So there's a lot of things that you know you should be doing, but you also got to know what not to do. So the number one practice with calling leads, let's say, for example, you're an insurance agent, or hey, maybe you're an insurance agency owner and you're helping your partners, your agents in your agency, in your organization call leads better. And you give them 100 leads. You give them 100 leads. You give them a batch of 100 leads. You're like, hey, go make some calls. What's that going to do for your agent? What's that going to do for your partner? It's going to cause a lot of confusion. They're going to be like, all right, well, I guess I'll just start making calls. But you have to have more of a strategic plan and more of a guideline and a direction on which your partners can go, and then on which as you as an insurance agent can go, right? So the more that you know these best practices that I'm going to share with you, the more results you're going to get, the better the outcomes you're going to get, and the more happy you're going to be with your career. And also as an agency owner, the more happy you're going to be as an agency owner and as training your people. So the first tip that I want to share with you guys, best practices for calling insurance leads. Number one tip is to break down your leads into sections of leads. So what does that mean? Let's say for example, you have 100 leads. So you got 100 leads. What you're going to want to do, and let's say you're working Monday through Friday. You know, an average schedule Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 8 hours a day. What I recommend, everyone to do is to just, hey, treat this opportunity and treat this job as an actual career. Treat it as a long-term path, a long-term decision that you're making. And most importantly, work it like a normal 9 to 5 job. If you're working it like a normal 9 to 5 job, you are going to create the results that you desire. You are going to get the results you desire. So let's say, for example, you have 100 leads. You're working Monday through Friday, right? And you're working Monday through Friday. What you're going to want to do, the first best practice that I recommend everyone to do to work your leads as sufficiently and effectively as you possibly could, the first thing that you're going to want to do, you're going to want to break these down into sections. So right here, 20, let's break this down into 5 different sections. So you got 5 different sections of 20 leads per section. So you got 100 leads that you're getting. Your agency owner, your executive of you as a, say you're an insurance agent, your executive just gave you 100 leads. What you're gonna wanna do, the first thing that you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna break these leads down into different sections. And say if you're an insurance agency owner, this is what you're gonna be wanting to teach your partners. You're gonna be wanting to teach your agents so they can effectively be attacking their leads, making sure they're getting every single bit out of their leads. Why do we wanna do this? Why do we wanna break down each batches of our leads, each batch of our weekly leads that we are getting? Why do we wanna break it down into sections? Well, here's the thing, here's the deal. So you have Monday, you have Tuesday, you have Wednesday, you have Thursday, and you have Friday. So each of those days, you're gonna be calling the same section of 20 leads. Well, different sections, but you're gonna be calling through them all day long. So you're gonna call this 20 batch of leads on Monday that you have, you're gonna call this batch of leads over and over and over and over and over again. Because what I see a lot with insurance agents is that they get 100 leads and they call through that 100 leads from 1 to 50 or 1 to 75 or 1 to 100 in one single day. So what happens is you're calling the first lead at, let's say, 9 a.m. You're calling the last lead at 5 p.m. Now you only hit that first lead at 9 a.m. They didn't answer. And if they didn't answer the phone, what's going to get you more results? It's by calling them at different variable times throughout the day. Calling them 9 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. and hitting them at different times throughout the day. Because, hey, if they weren't available at 9 a.m., maybe they're available at 12 noon. Maybe they're available at 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., right? And this is exactly why we want to break down our batches of leads into sections. So this 20 leads that you're working on Monday, you're going to be calling it over and over and over again. So that first lead that you call could be 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Let's say 9 a.m., for example, normal 9 to 5 job, right? We want to view this opportunity as a normal 9 to 5 job. You're calling that first lead at 9 a.m. You call that first lead at 9 a.m. You call through that batch of 20 and you're already through the first round of calling them by 12 noon. Maybe by 11 a.m., by 1 p.m., whatever it might be. Now you're going right back to that first lead that you called in the beginning, that you called at 9 a.m. And if they didn't answer at 9 a.m., now you're calling them at a different time, whether it's 11 a.m. or 12 noon or 1 p.m. Now you're hitting them at different sections throughout the day. You're hitting them at different variable times throughout the day, which is ultimately going to increase your chances of getting that lead on the phone. So that is why it's so very important and something that I recommend. And this is why I'm telling you guys best practices for calling insurance leads. This is why when you get a batch of 100 leads, you want to break them down into sections. And you want to call this section of 20 leads, you want to call it over and over and over and over again on just one single day. You're going to be hitting these leads at different times throughout the day. And ultimately, you're keeping it more simple. You're going to be more effective with calling these leads. You're calling the same batch of 20 leads just one day for 8 hours. You might seem like, wow, Brian, that's a lot. That's a lot. Like, why would I keep calling back the same person or the same batch of 20 leads, section of 20 leads for 8 hours straight? Well, hey, the reason why is because you're going to increase your chances. Like I just said, you're going to increase your chances of actually getting that lead on the phone. If they don't answer at 9 a.m., call them at 11 a.m. If they don't answer at 11, call them at 1. If they don't answer at 1 p.m., call them at 3. If they don't answer at 3 p.m., call them at 5 p.m. If they don't answer at 5 p.m., call them at 7 p.m. Keep hitting them at different variables. Sooner or later, I'm telling you, they are going to answer. Sooner or later, this lead that you've been calling all day long is going to answer. They're going to keep seeing your number pop up. They're going to be like, man, this person, like, what do they want from me? Like, why do they keep calling me? Normal telemarketers, they're going to call at one specific time in the day. They might call 4 or 5 times in a row. and then that's it. They're going to move on to the next cold lead. Whereas, hey, as you being a great and you being a professional, if you want to move into that realm of great and professionalism with calling your leads, you're going to call that lead 5 to 10 different times on the same day, but at different times throughout the day. Maybe they had a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. and hey, you have a better chance of reaching them at 11 a.m. Maybe they're at lunch, they don't have their phone with them at 11 a.m. Now you got a better chance of reaching them at 1 p.m. So on and so forth. So that's the number one practice, folks. That is the number one practice that you want to implement when calling your leads and when working your leads as an insurance agent, and then also as an insurance agency owner. As an agency owner, you want to give batches of leads to each of your agents, and you want to have your agents breaking them down into sections and working those sections on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's also the second tip. I actually dived into the second tip is calling each of these sections on a singular day. Now, you might say, like, Ryan, like I called this batch of 20 leads. I've called this batch of 20 leads on Monday. I've called them like 100 times. I called them like 200 times. Shouldn't I go on to the next section? No, just keep calling them. Keep calling them. Keep working that section of leads. And then move on to the next one, and the next one, the next one, the next one. And what you want to be shooting for, and what we strive for here at LC Financial Group, and it's basically an industry standard, you want to be closing 20% of that section, or 20% of your total leads. So 100 leads turns into 20 closes. 20 leads out of each section that you have, Monday through Friday, 20 leads turns into 4 closes, right? So this is what you want to be focused on. Okay, 20%, 20%. Maybe once you hit your 20%, you hit a 20%, you hit 4 closes out of that section on Monday, then you move on to Tuesday, even though it's not Tuesday, if you know what I mean. So hope that makes sense. So that's the number 2 best practice tip, is that, hey, you want to call each section on a day, singular days. You want to call each of those sections on a singular day. Now the third tip, best practices for calling leads as an insurance agent, and best practices that you need to be having your agents execute on as an insurance agency owner. The third tip is calling your leads 3 times in a row. Calling each lead that you have 3 times in a row. We already know this, but sometimes we don't execute upon it as best as we possibly could. Calling that lead 3 times in a row. You call them once, they're gonna hit that decline. You call them 2 times, now they're gonna be thinking like, man, who is this? Why are they calling me 2 times in a row? You call them 3 times in a row, they're gonna be like, man, who is this? I need to know. Why are they calling me 3 times in a row? That's what's going on in that client's mind. That's what's going on in the customer's mind. They're like, man, why is this person calling me 3 times in a row? It must be serious. It must be something important. Let me answer the phone. So calling your leads 3 times in a row. Now, each of these sections that we're working, I'm going back to the sections here because this is the framework, this is the groundwork of actually working your leads, right? So the section of 20 here, you got to call each of those leads 3 times. So by the time you're through with calling that section of 20 leads, during your first round of calling, during that first run through of calling, you should have made 60 calls. 60 calls on that 20 leads if you're calling them 3 times in a row. That's going to increase the probability of your contact ratio with those leads that you're getting. That's going to increase your presentations. That's going to increase your enrollments and the closes that you make, right? But it all starts with that framework of setting up those sections and breaking down your batches of leads into different sections, working those sections on a day-to-day basis. All right, so that's number 3. Number four is to not move from one section to another until you've hit that 20% close ratio. So as I said earlier, it's an industry standard. It's what I tell my partners here at LC Financial Group to strive for. It's what I recommend you as an insurance agency owner to implement within your agency of like, hey, my agents need to close 20% of their leads. So out of this 100, you need 20. Out of the 20, you need 4. Do not move on to this next section of 20 until you have closed 4 deals. So if you close 4 deals and it's only 12 noon on Monday, move on to the next section. and then you can keep going through. Keep cycling and going through these leads. Keep cycling and going through these leads. The more contacts, the more close you are to a contract. The more contacts you make, the closer you're going to get to a contact, right? So you just have to keep making calls. You just have to keep making calls. You know, sales is a contact sport. Got to make those contacts. And then number 5, this is very important. This is very important. I see a lot of insurance agents doing this, and it's something that I don't recommend doing, right? Like I said earlier, we got to know what we need to do. We got to know what to do, but also we got to know what not to do. We also have to know about what not to do, right? So number 5, best practice for calling your insurance leads as an insurance agent, and best practices that you can implement within your agency as an insurance agency owner. Step number 5 is to not leave a voicemail until you've called the lead 10 to 15 times. You might be thinking like, Ryan, what are you talking about? Always leave a voicemail. I'm a big believer in that. Don't get me wrong. I am a big believer in always leaving a voicemail. However, what can happen is, and there's 2 sides to the story, but this is what I recommend. What can happen is you call the lead 1, 2, 3 times and you're like, oh, I'm going to leave a voicemail. I'm going to leave a voicemail. Hey, Betty, this is Ryan, just getting back to you regarding the postcard you filled out. Got some great news. Give me a call as soon as you can. Okay, that might work. They might call you back. Next time you call them, they might answer. Or, hey, next time they call you, they see your number, they're not going to answer. They're going to immediately decline it. They're never going to answer your call. I don't know what this is about. I don't know why this person is calling me. And boom. Because now they know why you are calling. Yes, we want the client to know why we're calling. However, best practices that I've implemented, right? These are some of the best practices I've implemented that help me close 30, 40 deals a week, that help me create, and close 200 Medicare enrollments in one single month, right? I'm just telling it from my experience. I will never tell you guys to do something that I've never done. But here's the thing that I've done. A lot of our partners here at LC Financial Group do the same thing. With the leads that they're calling, they don't leave a voicemail until 10 to 15 times of actually calling that lead. Why do we do that? Because it's like, for example, I'm driving on the highway and, I don't know there's patrolmen on the highway checking for speeders. And I'm a big speeder, right? I speed a lot. I go fast. I like to get places quick. I got things to do and people to see. I know you guys do too. So I'm speeding, and I don't know there's cops on the highway. I don't know there's state patrol on the highway. And I'm just speeding because I don't think anything otherwise. However, if I knew that there's a cop, you're using the Waze, for your maps, or maybe you're using Apple Maps and it actually notifies you, hey, speed check ahead. Now you're going to slow down. So for me, hey, it's the same thing with clients. The more they're in mystery and you keep calling them 10, 15, 20 times, the more they're going to be like, man, what is going on? I keep getting a call from this person. Why don't I just go ahead and answer it? Why don't I just go ahead and answer this call so I can have this person stop calling me? And that's the mind frame of why you don't want to leave a voicemail until you've called the client 10 to 15 times. Because the client is in mystery right now. And they see you call 10 to 15 times. They're like, wow, why does this number keep calling me? Now they're a little curious. They're a little antsy of man, maybe I should answer this. It's a local number. Maybe I should answer this. They call me 15 times. Maybe it's a friend from the past that got a new number. Maybe it's a family member that got a new number, right? Whereas hey, if you leave a voicemail after 3 times of calling that client and you leave a voicemail, now they know exactly why you are calling, and it decreases your chance of actually getting that contact, of them actually answering the phone. Now, it could go both ways, but from my personal experience, being able to, close 100 plus deals a month, 20 to 30, north of 30 enrollments per week, this is what has worked for me. not calling and leaving a voicemail until I call the lead 10 to 15 times, right? So that's number 5. Number 5, best practice to calling insurance leads. Don't leave a voicemail until you've called the lead 10 to 15 times. Because if you call the lead and you leave a voicemail after the 3rd call, now they know exactly why you're calling, which, hey, could be a good thing, but also could be a bad thing because they know exactly why you're calling. You'll be like, I don't remember this. I'm never going to answer that call. I've already got it taken care of. I'm not going to answer that call now. I've already got, the best plan. I'm not going to answer the call now. Whereas if they're in mystery and you keep calling 15 times, they're going to be a little curious. They're going to be a little curious of like, why does this person keep calling me? Why are they calling me 3 times in a row? Why have they called me 15 to 20 times in the last day to 2 days? Now they're a little curious. It's going to increase that contact ratio. And then number 6, it also ties into number 5. Number 6 tip, best practices to calling insurance leads. Number 6 is do not leave a text message until you call the lead 10 to 15 times, right? And we want to make sure that we're utilizing all flows of communication. You never want to be reliant on just a phone call. You never want to be reliant on just a text message, right? Relying on one form of communication is the last thing that you want to do as an insurance agent. And as an insurance agency owner, you want to make sure that your agents and partners are not relying on one form of communication. So you want to make calls, you want to leave voicemails, you want to send text messages, right? You want to send them direct mail pieces, potentially, going an extra mile, right? You want to call them from different numbers, right? But number 6, best practice is not sending a text message until you've called the lead 10 to 15 times. Until you've called the lead 10 to 15 times, right? You leave them a text message. Hey, Betty, this is Ryan, just getting back with you, got some great news. The first text message that you leave, the first voicemail that you want to leave, and this is actually diving into the voicemail and the text messages that you send them. The first voicemail and the first text message that you want to leave to a client has to be very, very generic. It has to be very bland. It keeps them in some sort of mystery. Hey, Betty, this is Ryan. Got some great news for you. Give me a call back as soon as possible. Number 1, they're going to be like, who in the hell is Ryan? Number 2, they're going to be like, what is this great news? Number 3, they're going to be like, man, I need to call whoever this is. I want to hear about this great news, right? So the first voicemail you make and the first text message that you send to your client needs to be very, very generic. And now you still have them in mystery. You've texted them. You've called them by this time of calling these leads. You've called them 10 to 15 times. You left one voicemail. You texted them once, right? Now by this time, you've had so many points of contact, you're going to call them another 10 times. And then after another 10 times, so you're up to like 20 calls on this client, 25 calls on this client. I've done it before. You got to exhaust your leads, right? You got to exhaust the leads. You're one contact away from a deal. You're one contact away from an enrollment. You're one contact away from a close, right? You got to exhaust the leads. So after 20 times, here's what you're going to do. Now you're going to leave them a more specified voicemail or a specified text message. So like I said, that first voicemail and text message that you leave has to be very generic. Continue to leave them some type of mystery. And then the second time you go through with that text message or voicemail, you want to be more specific. Hey, Betty, this is Ryan. Just getting back to you regarding the postcard you filled out that came in your mail. Or I'm just getting back to you regarding the Facebook post that you had completed and filled out on Facebook. I'm just getting back to you regarding the call you got from our representative. I'm just getting back with you, right? I've got some great news regarding this request that you have put in regarding you wanting to see if you're eligible to receive money back, you're eligible to get more benefits, whatever it might be. I was calling you back regarding this. Got some great news for you and a very, very important question. Give me a call back as soon as you can. Right? You got the great news. Hey, I got some great news. You also got another variation. Hey, I've got a very important question. Right? Leave them different variations. Right? So first voicemail and text that you want to leave, this goes into tip number 5 and 6 of leaving voicemails and leaving text messages, and not leaving voicemails and text messages until you've called them 10 to 15 times. The first voicemail and text you want to leave, very generic. Keep this in mind, very, very generic. The second voicemail and text that you want to leave after you've called them 10 to 15 times more, additionally on top of what you've already called them before the first voicemail and text, the second voicemail and text you want to leave is going to be more specific. It's going to be like, hey, getting back to you regarding exactly what they filled out, regarding exactly what they, requested information on. Give them more details, because by this time, man, you've called this lead 20 to 25 times, and the last thing that you want to do is get your head wrapped around focusing on one lead or focusing on one batch of leads. Because you got to keep that momentum. You got to keep the momentum. Momentum is crucial. Getting those wins are crucial, and continuing to get some type of little wins along the way, right? So number 6, texting the lead after 10 to 15 calls that you have made. And then number 7, we all know this, but hey, we always need those constant reminders. Number 7 is using a secondary phone number to call the leads, to send text messages, and to send voicemails, right? As I said earlier, the last thing that you want to do as an insurance agent, and the last thing that you want to tell your insurance agents as an insurance agency owner to do, is to call off of one phone number. You want them to be using multiple different phone numbers. For example, hey, I have an Ohio phone number, and I'm calling Florida leads. I'm going to use my direct line first, and then after 10, 15, 20, 25 calls, then I'm going to use a local number. Or maybe even after 10 calls. Or maybe as I'm calling each section of these leads, right? Going back into the sections, maybe as I'm calling through these 20 leads that I have specifically dispositioned for calling on Monday, while I'm calling those leads, maybe for the first 4 hours, I'm going to call up my direct cell phone. The next 4 hours, I'm going to use my CRM. I'm going to use my dialer. I'm going to use a Google Voice number with a local area code number. That's going to increase your chances of actually getting the lead on the phone. That's going to increase your contact ratio. The more contacts we make, the more presentations we're going to make. The more presentations, the more closes we're going to get, right? So using secondary phone numbers, not just relying on one phone number. Get a Google Voice number, get a CRM. Here at LC Financial Group, we provide all of our partners with Go High Level CRM. You're able to get as many numbers as you want and use those numbers to call your leads. We also provide our partners with a dialer, right? So using the dialer, using the CRM, using your direct cell phone number. Now you've got 3 ways to contact your leads. You're not just relying on one single way to contact your leads. We actually have a 16-way contact sheet to contact your leads. 16 proven ways to contact your leads. If you want more information on how to contact your leads, 16 different ways, make sure to DM me, leave a comment below. More than happy to share that with you. But tip number 7 is using a secondary phone number, or maybe a third phone number, maybe a 4th phone number. So you're just hitting them from all different variables, right? And then number 8, man, this is going into levels of deepness, right? We had one of our partners here at LC Financial Group actually do this, and he's been getting inbound calls from the leads that he actually got from us here at LC Financial Group. We provide all of our partners with free leads. So if you want to learn more about what partnering with us, make sure to DM me, comment below, and send me a message. We'll see what we can do to help. But number 8, best practice to working leads. And I'm telling you, you guys are going to be thinking I'm crazy, which I am. I'm the machine, right? Number 8 practice to working leads as an insurance agent and agency owner to implement within your agency is to have your agents, or you as an agent, to have you send your leads, the unresolved leads, those leads that you've called 25 times, 30 times, and trust me, this is after you've called them 25 to 30 times. You don't want to do this immediately. You want to use this practice. This is like a last case scenario. This is worst case scenario. This is like, oh man, like I feel like this lead is dead. They're never going to answer the phone. Never give up on the lead. Trust me, never ever give up on the lead. So number 8 is sending a direct mail piece to that lead. You have their name, you have their address. Hopefully you have their address. If not, then you can't do this, but we're using direct mail pieces here at LC Financial Group. But you have their address and you're sending them a personally handwritten note in the mail, a direct mail piece. Now you're thinking like, Ryan, why am I investing money into this lead that I've called 25 to 30 times and they haven't answered after 30 calls? Well, hey, the reason why is because you're committed. You are 100% committed to servicing this client that's in front of you, to assisting this client that's in front of you. Say, the harder the client to get a hold of, the better. Right? The harder that they are to get a hold of, the better of a client they are actually going to be. Other agents have gotten this client's information and they gave up already. You are not giving up. You are going to continue to persist. You are going to continue to make calls, make contacts, and do whatever it takes to get this client on the phone. So utilizing a direct mail piece and sending a direct mail card with a custom and postcard in the envelope that you're sending them. Hey, this is Ryan. Been trying to get a hold of you. Got some great news. Very important question. Give me a call back as soon as possible. Give me a call at my number. I look forward to speaking with you. And then also, hey, if you're working direct mail leads, put that direct mail piece that they filled out, personally handwritten and filled out, put that piece in the direct mail that you are sending them. Put that direct mail piece in that personal letter that you are sending the client, right? That's going to increase your contact ratio. That's going to allow you to, ultimately, it's going to allow you to go from 20 contacts to 30 contacts. You're going to be starting to get inbound calls. One of our partners here at LC Financial Group actually did this. They sent out 45 direct mail pieces to all of his unresolved clients, all those clients that potentially didn't put a phone number on the direct mail piece that he got. And now he's getting inbound calls. But trust me, like I said, you do not want to do this until you've called the client maybe 25 to 30 times. Until you've called the client 25 to 30 times, you do not want to be sending them a direct mail postcard. And then number nine is just hey, utilize the CRM. Utilize the CRM. Let's say, for example, you've gotten these 100 leads. You've been calling these sections of leads Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You've been diligently working these leads. You're up to your 20% closing ratio. You've closed 20 leads out of these 100 leads. You've enrolled 20 people. You've enrolled, you hit your maximum, you hit your quota, right? Now you can get new leads from your organization. Now you can get new leads, right? And instead of those other 80% that you didn't get a hold of, or maybe the other 40% that you didn't get a hold of, instead of just throwing them on the back burner and never working them again, what you're going to do with all the unresolved and all the unsold clients, all the clients that you didn't sell, you're going to put them into a CRM. You're going to have a separate campaign that's set up for unsold clients, and you're going to continue to drip on them for the next 3 to 6 months, for the next 1 year. Creativity follows commitment. The more committed you are, the more creative you're going to be. You're going to follow up with these clients for the next 3 to 12 months. You're going to continue to drip on them, because if they didn't do business with you at one point in time, it does not mean that they won't ever do business with you. If they're not interested at one point in time, it doesn't mean that they're still not going to be interested 6 months from now. If they didn't answer the phone at one point in time, it doesn't mean that they won't answer the phone 3 months from now, a month from now, 12 months from now. As long as you continue to put forth effort and put forth commitment, you're going to increase your chances of them actually answering the phone. So utilizing the CRM, now you pretty much have a free employee working for you. That's calling your leads, sending voicemail drops, sending text message drops, and continually dripping on those unsold clients. And then to wrap it up, number 10 best practice. I love the number 10, right? 10X, right? Number 10 best practice is a don't quit. Don't quit. I talked about it a few times, but you never, ever, ever want to quit. You never want to give up on the leads that you're calling. You want to maximize the leads that you're calling. Hey, if it takes 2 weeks to close 20%, perfectly fine. You just never want to quit. Never quit. Never quit. Always know that, hey, also having that long-term vision and that long-term viewpoint of like, this one lead it can turn into 10 different opportunities, right? I talk about this all the time within our organization here at LC Financial Group, is that one person, they know 10 other people. Those 10 other people, they know 10 other people each. So that one person, it can turn into 100 different people. If you work the lead properly, if you continue to maximize it, if you continue to squeeze out all the juice, if you continue to do what you know you should be doing, right? So don't quit. Don't quit. Stick in the game. Keep persisting. Stay committed. Don't get discouraged. Don't get distracted. Don't let all these unsolicited advice givers and naysayers in your life, potentially that you have in your life, if you do have some, don't let them feed you doubt and uncertainty. Don't let doubt and uncertainty creep into your head. Always know that if you keep persisting, you will become successful. If you keep persisting, you will get the client on the phone. If you keep persisting, you will close a deal eventually. The marketplace might just be testing you. Maybe you just got into insurance. Maybe you've been in insurance for a little while. You've been winning a lot lately. You've been winning, you've been succeeding. Now you think you're almighty, you think you're the best. The marketplace is gonna hit you. They're gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna test you out. I'm gonna test you out, son. They're gonna test you. The marketplace is gonna test you because now you think, oh, like, I'm so great, I'm the best. Now you got a big old ego. You gotta get rid of that ego. That marketplace is gonna test you. And that's what's happening when clients, hey, maybe clients aren't answering the phone. The marketplace is testing you. The world is testing you to see what you're really made of. What are you made of? Are you willing to keep persisting when others quit? Are you willing to do what others don't do to get what others don't get? Right? It's that simple. So these are 10 best practices. 10 best practices. If you want this complete list, email me, Ryan@RyanLoede.com, Ryan@RyanLoede.com. Also, if you want any more information, hey, maybe the 16 ways to exhaust your leads, 16 ways to contact leads, email me, DM me, comment below. More than happy to share that with you. Contacting leads, working your leads, best practices, 10 best practices for working your leads as an insurance agent, and 10 best practices as an insurance agency owner that you want to implement in your agency to create more success, to work your leads proficiently. Because, hey, leads are our lifeblood, right? Without leads, we don't have people to speak to. And if we're not, efficiently working our leads, if we're not working our leads the best way what we can, then, we're not going to get the results that we want. So hope this found you well. Hope everyone's doing well. You guys have a great rest of your day. Ryan Loede here, owner of LC Financial Group. We're helping individuals create a multiple six-figure residual income. If you want to learn more about what partnering with us here at LC Financial Group would look like, DM me, comment below, reach out to any of our partners, email our careers team, careers@teamlcfg.com, careers@teamlcfg.com, or hey, just stay along for the ride. Continue to absorb the information that I provide, that our organization provides. We want to help you whether you're inside our organization or not. You guys have a great day, insurance agents, insurance agency owners. It's your boy Ryan Loede, the machine. You guys take it easy. See you guys soon.